And that's where the power of anticipation comes in.
Hello and welcome to Meet the Coach. I'm your host, Carla Egan, and today our theme is the power of anticipation. So naturally, I'm keen to dive into this topic today. Our coach guest with me is Shruti Mouli from Shruti Mouli Coaching. Now, Shruti has over 15 years corporate experience, and she combines that with her knowledge of human behaviour and uses a research-based coaching methodology to assist leaders and business owners. Shruti is based in Victoria, Australia, and joins me today. Hi, Shruti, welcome, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Carla. I'm delighted to be here today.
It's our pleasure. Now, our theme is centered around the power of anticipation. So I've got a level of anticipation around our topic. But before we jump into that, I'd love to give you the opportunity to share in your own words your experience in business and in leadership and what led you into coaching and to running your own business.
Well, I have to answer this question in two parts, Carla. So firstly, my previous life, as you mentioned, I was in corporate for 15 years. In my previous life, if I can call it that, I was a retail designer and a customer experience strategist. Now, customer experience, being a customer experience strategist, it kind of looked at the entire back end of the business. So the way customer experience strategy works is you need to streamline the back end of your business so you can take a unified approach to your customer so they can have the best experience. So, I had access to almost all of the back end of businesses for some of the top retail brands because I was part of their leadership teams. But as I was in these leadership roles, I kind of studied the gaps in leaderships, the teams, the culture, and the corporate structures. And I studied the gaps in them, and now it helps me in my leadership and business coaching. Now, to answer your second part, why did I choose coaching? Whilst design is in my blood and I pretty much loved what I did, there was a huge gap in my life. There was a big void. And I tried to fill that up by moving jobs, doing different courses, trying to upskill myself, but, nothing filled it. And there came a point where I said, what am I going to do? How am I going to fill this? And I had to kind of quit my job, take some time off and figure out what I wanted to do. And it came to me that because I'd studied the gaps in leadership and business, I wanted to help business people, kind of fulfill those gaps. I went to the Coaching Institute, started studying coaching, got into personal development coaching. But when I did personal development coaching, there was a gap of how do you apply to business? And when I did business coaching, there was a gap of how do I apply the mindset that I've got to business? So, Carla, that's when I realized I had to combine the two. So I brought in commercial acumen, which is business, and I combined human behavior for it to come together through my coaching. And that's how Shruti Mouli Coaching was born.
Wonderful. I love your journey, and I love you sharing the combination of, you mentioned the customer experience strategy, which is important for all, anyone in business. Everyone needs to have a strategy in terms of attracting their ideal clients or customers and for retaining them as well. And then with your retail background as well, this is such an important topic to be having right now because a lot of people are taking some opportunities to consider where their direction is in life and what they want to be doing, just what you've done. And so it's wonderful that you're working in that space right now.
Absolutely. And I think this is the perfect time, for businesses to be looking at how do we go from here? What do we do? And what could we have done to have been in a better position despite what's happening around us with COVID. And that's where the power of anticipation comes in. And we'll talk about it later when the time is right for you.
Well, let's just, talk about this, the importance of this topic that we're, exploring. Why do you think now is the right time for many businesses and leaders?
It's the perfect time to be having this conversation, Carla. Just think about how COVID has affected so many businesses right now, and it's a big challenge for a lot of businesses. And, I am a firm believer that there are challenges that's going to come up in your life, regardless of how well you're doing or how poorly you're doing at any given point in life. Right now, you might be doing extremely well in your business, or you might be doing extremely poorly in your business, but challenges are coming your way. I'm not trying to be negative here, but you know how life happens to all of us, right? The adversity that happens to us, we can't control them. But there's one thing we can really, really control, and that is what happens within our business. Through power of anticipation, you can draw out a roadmap for business success. And most importantly, anticipating and preparing for the challenges that are coming your way. By doing this, I think you'll have a solid plan for your business, which is a step-by-step process to protect your cash flow for any given situation, even unforeseen events like COVID. If you think about it, Carla, just think about all the businesses that are doing well for themselves, even amidst COVID. I personally believe it's because they have the power to anticipate for any challenges that come their way. They've planned for it. They have anticipated any sort of challenge, and they're ready to pivot when needed. And they can do that instantly. And I think if we fail to anticipate and if we fail to prepare, I think the demise of business is inevitable. And that's my opinion.
Thank you. I love that perspective. Look, and I just want to pick up on what you said about, the power of anticipation with leaders.
Mm-hmm.
So what specifically do leaders and business owners need to anticipate given the environment that we're working in right now?
Mm-hmm. Look, I think every business goes through a life cycle. And, there is a really good model that Tony Robbins talks about where he takes the life cycle of a business, and he compares it to the life cycle of a human. And he says, it all starts with an idea. So it's the birth of an idea. And then you move on to being an infant, and then you move on to being a toddler, to a teenager, to a young adult, and you hit midlife crisis. And at midlife crisis, most of us, in our lives, we tend to reevaluate, rejuvenate our lives, just so, we can heighten the quality of our lives. Otherwise, it's just going to kind of deteriorate from there. If we don't anticipate for all of these phases in business and all of these challenges and the goals that come along with these phases, it is going to be really hard to move forward with business. And I think at any given point, there are 6 factors that we need to be considering while we anticipate for our business. I think the first one and the biggest one would be changes in technology. Technology is changing around us every single day. Change in your competition. So look at what your competition is doing and, kind of anticipate challenges around that. A change in the culture within your own organization with new people coming in, old people leaving. So, you need to adapt to the new cultures that's happening and build a solid culture. A change in economy. COVID has brought around a lot of economy changes, so you need to cater to that. A change in your customers' lives based on economy. A change in your employees' lives. People go off and have babies, they go on parental leave, they might fall sick. So, you need to anticipate for all of this. And I think the last and the most important is a change in your own life stage. You predict what's going to happen in your life. You know what you want to do in your life and what challenges that might bring about for your business, and you anticipate for that as well. So I think these 6 factors are the most important factors that you need to be anticipating for.
I love how you've broken that up, and I've just written them down. Yeah, it's wonderful because you can actually see where a business or a leader is in their development of their business and how they're progressing and where some of the gaps are and what they need to anticipate. Hence our theme for today. I love that. It's tied in really nicely, hasn't it?
Yes.
You also mentioned, I'm also curious about, you mentioned about your overlapping the life cycle, which I thought was really fascinating, with the business cycle and how those, interact in many parts of our journey through this thing that we call life. So taking into consideration those two models and your 6 factors, how do you help your clients? How do you help your businesses? What tools and mechanisms do you put in place to address those factors?
Carla, the model I teach is inspired from Sharon Pearson from the Coaching Institute. It's a 4-step process to business success. So the 4 steps are environment, structure, implementation, and people. The first step is environment, and it looks at the vision, the mission, the purpose, and the culture you want to build around your business. It looks at your competition, your goals, where you want to take your business, and the potential challenges that come with each of these. And this model also allows you to evaluate and reassess the status of performance periodically at every step, because every step is benchmarked. There's for every step that I put in, I say what success looks like for this particular step. So, that is step 1 of environment, where we look at the entire vision, mission, purpose, and the culture of your business and take into account competition and every challenge that comes along. Step 2, we look at structure, which is a deep dive into the systems, procedures, technology, as well as the most important organizational hierarchy that you require to run a business. Success here is defined and, again, revisited periodically to ensure standards are maintained. Of course, standards need to be maintained, right, in every business. And challenges are anticipated again, and measures are put into place to deal with them as they show up. Step 3, like I said, is implementation, where we look at implementing all of these strategies that we've put together in environment and structure. And we also anticipate what sort of challenges come together while we're trying to implement, and we take into effect all of that for the smooth and efficient running of the business. Again, the model lends itself to amending and refining the implementation process until it is running at its top peak performance. And of course, the last one is people. And people is always at the last because they are the biggest and the greatest resource for any company. You would agree with me that a company cannot run without its people. A company cannot be successful without its people. It is the people that makes the company. Yes, you can have the best strategy, you can have everything that's the best for your company, but if the people are not, what am I trying to say? They're not performing at their peak, the business is going nowhere. So what we do is we look at attitudes, skill sets, behaviors, and we coach and train individuals for high performance. The culture of the organization we build is open, it's communicative, and every single person champions and supports one another. Everyone is treated with respect, and professional and personal development in the businesses I work with are taken very, very seriously. So Carla, this particular model takes a while to install into a business. The leaders within the business needs to be educated. But once the education is done and it's installed in a business, it's a solid step. It's a solid 4-step process for business success, and it's self-sustainable. Hopefully that gives some insight into what I do and how I take businesses through the journey.
It's a really, really comprehensive approach that you take. And I love the structure and the models that you bring to helping leaders and businesses through those stages. And I like, you said a key word, benchmarking. So benchmarking, what does success look like? Because that might mean something to it means different things to different people.
It does,
and I love that. Yeah, and I love that you you wanted to define that at the start in order to then deliver the outcome that they're looking for. So that's wonderful.
Yeah.
And it appears that you take
Karen Pearson says, doesn't she, if you can't benchmark something, it means it's not important. Throw it out your business.
Yes, throw it out the window.
Yeah, throw it out the window. It's not needed.
You obviously take a very research-based approach to business coaching, and a lot of your skill set is transferable. So is there a particular industry, Shruti, or or do you have an ideal client that you like to work with and that you'd like to attract?
Carla, Shruti Mouli coaching works with business owners and leaders to help them achieve their mega results. So when I say mega results, success, everything's very subjective. So whatever you're achieving, whatever you're trying to achieve, I will help you do that by operating with clarity, focus, and clear direction. So my ideal clients would be driven. I want driven small to medium business owners who want to go get it. I want them to have the go get it attitude, and who want to grow their business and future-proof their business by anticipating and overcoming every challenge that comes their way in terms of running their business. And what I want from these business owners as well is they want to build an efficient and a sustainable business around them, along with a very, very powerful team around them to help them achieve their success. So what am I looking for? A small to medium business who wants to grow and who wants to build an efficient and sustainable business. Any industry is fine, because this model allows itself to be installed in any business of any size, and they just need to have the right attitude and the go-get-it, mojo behind them.
Wonderful. It's the attitude and the mindset that's important, because you've got the structure, you've got the tools, you've got the methodologies.
Absolutely. I've got the structure. Just come to me with the attitude and we'll get there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Shruti, you're a founding member of the Coaching Directory. What does joining the Coaching Directory mean to you and your business?
First of all, Carla, the Coaching Directory is a fantastic initiative. So go you, well done you for bringing this on and, giving us an opportunity to being a part of this platform. As for me, being a part of the Coaching Directory, I think is a great way to gain visibility and also credibility for my business. And of course, it gives me an opportunity to hang out with all these amazing coaches around me and get to know more coaches and see what they do and learn from the best, really. And I think it's also a great platform for my ideal clients to find me through the Coaching Directory. So yes, thank you very much for, birthing the Coaching Directory and bringing all of us on this journey.
I love you. I love your analogy that we're birthing the Coaching Directory. It's wonderful, and thank you for your lovely words. And that does bring us to the end of this interview. Thank you, Shruti, for joining us on Meet the Coach. And thank you for sharing details of your approach in maximising the potential through the power of coaching and through the power of anticipation as well.
Yes, power of anticipation is key to business success.
Absolutely. And as always, thanks to those of you that are following our Meet the Coach series. If you enjoy our series, please rate and review us, and make sure you visit and check out the profile of Shruti Mouli from Shruti Mouli Coaching on the Coaching Directory. I'm Carla Egan, your host for this series, where we make it easier for you to connect to your ideal coach.